there's a way to do it. And Dr. Rind was the one that formulated the so-called mathematics of probability, you know. And we have used some of those mathematics of probabilities in our testing. Now, about the measuring of the so-called prophets, we call them clairvoyants nowadays. A clairvoyant, for instance, is a person something like this. A man has drowned in a lake, and they are dragging the lake and cannot find his body. They do it for several days and hopeless. I mean, they cannot find the body. They know that there's a man here that has this kind of faculties that's pretty accurate on predicting, so-called predicting, or knowing about things without being told. They call him a wise man who gets information that's correct and can be verified without being told. They go and consult this individual. Are we ever going to find their body? The man goes into concentration, and he says 2 days from today at 2:45 p.m. on the south side, there's a big tree there. Right there, this body is going to float on its own. So they don't drag the lake anymore. They go to this specific place at this specific time, and sure enough, the body floats right there. Now, that's what we call a natural clairvoyant, a natural prophet and wise man nowadays. Well, there's so many of them, they're called psychics. Well, what's a psychic? A psychic is a person who uses his mental faculties. Mental faculties are psychic faculties. The mind is the psyche. They call it the psyche also. So it's nothing strange, nothing occult, nothing mysterious. These people have those faculties, period. And I feel, this is my personal concept, that the prophets of old who took part in being influenced to write the scriptures, the Bible, were these 10%ers, clairvoyants, who were using both brain hemispheres by natural means, you see. We have found, especially through my research, that about 10% of people have these faculties. About 10% of humanity have naturally developed the so-called use of the right brain hemisphere along with the left one. But 90% of humanity have not learned to use the right brain hemisphere. They need to be taught how to do it. Papa and Mama did not know how to teach them, so they did not develop the use of the right brain hemisphere to think with. It's active in the biological system of the body, in the nervous system of the body, and so forth. Of course, the right brain hemisphere governs the left side of the body, we know this, but to think with, we're talking about to think with. So 10% of people are the only ones who are using it. So now we have what we call natural clairvoyants. Those who, we don't know how they did it, what happened in their lives, to be able to concentrate in that special manner that they developed the use of the right brain hemisphere. There's no way of knowing. So then we have natural clairvoyants now, and now we have trained clairvoyants. The ones that I believe, it's my personal concept, that Jesus trained his disciples to become prophets and wise men. He was teaching them to become clairvoyants, as we call them now. He was teaching them to use both brain hemispheres, even the right one also. Okay? Now, that's what I believe. Now, so we have now the natural and the trained, because we are training people. We have trained millions of people now to use both brain hemispheres and to develop an enhanced intuitive faculty. The intuitive faculty is what they call the prophetic ability. The intuitive faculty is the right brain hemisphere. It's a faculty of the right brain hemisphere. The left brain hemisphere is not intuitive at all. It's illogical. It has to do with mathematics and logic and so on. The right one, there's no logic here. It's the one that has the so-called deductive faculty of mind, they call it. The analytical, critical consciousness are governed by the right brain hemisphere. The one that has to do by controlling all your mental faculties. And the mental faculties are the main faculties of a human being. What are they? The desire faculty. Desire is a spiritual faculty governed by the right brain hemisphere. Now, why is it? It's because you cannot know where that is. What is a desiring faculty? How do you desire? How strong is your desire? Is it weak? Is it very strong? Well, I mean, we can measure it with objective instruments because it's the accumulation of spiritual energy. When you desire something, the more you desire, the stronger it gets. The more you think about what you desire, the stronger it gets. We know this now. Whether you think about it or verbalize it, it gets stronger and stronger. So, but there's no way to measure how much energy you have accumulated with your faculty desire. So it belongs to the right brain hemisphere. It belongs to the invisible world of the mind. Now, this is only one of the faculties that the right brain hemisphere controls. Now, belief is another one. The major faculties of a human being are governed by the right brain hemisphere. Belief. How strong do you believe in anything? We cannot measure. It's a variable. It may be a lot, it may be nothing at all. Then there's no way to use an objective instrument to connect you to know how strong that is. There's no way. Yet we know it could be very strong or none at all. Now, how do you strengthen your desire? How do you strengthen your belief factors? By believing in it, and by believing it and repeatedly believing in what you desire, and whatever you believe in, keep it in mind more often, and the more you think about what you believe in, the stronger it gets, you see. So then we know how to strengthen the faculty of desire, or accumulate energy, spiritual energy, with the faculty of desire, with the faculty of belief, and then another faculty, the faculty of hope, you know. It's also called expectancy. Whatever you hope for, how strongly do you hope to get it? Well, that means think about getting it, and the more you think about getting it, you will get it. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So again, it's another faculty that belongs to the right brain hemisphere to control and govern over the right brain hemisphere. Is in charge of all of this. Now, we now know how to strengthen desire, belief, and hope. Now, these are the major faculties that are contained as ingredients in a formula that formulates what we call faith. We have been told time and again, oh, you must have faith, you know. But they never tell us what that is or how to get it. Okay, so I need faith. Now, how do I get it? They can't tell you, see. Now we know that the strengthening of faith is the strengthening at your right brain hemisphere, controlling your right brain hemisphere, at a certain brain frequency to be able to go over what you desire, to go over what you believe in, to go over what you hope for, and to strengthen it, and that strengthens your faith. That's what they call the law of the Trinity. 3 different areas, right? The law of the triune, the law of the triangle sometimes it's called. This is what we're talking about now. Now we know what faith is and how to strengthen it. Now you strengthen your faith with your right brain hemisphere, and whatever energy you use to plan or to create a model, a blueprint, the original, whatever you want to accomplish. Create the model here first, and that would be what would become materialized eventually. If you don't create your blueprints, you don't create your models at this dimension with this energy, desire, belief, and hope, you will not accomplish anything. You need to first create this model here in order for it to become materialized at the left brain hemisphere level, or else it never will be. So now, clairvoyants are able to do this. Now when we test clairvoyance now, testing the natural clairvoyance and testing our trained clairvoyance, they seem to be just as accurate, meaning natural clairvoyance as well as trained clairvoyance are right sometimes on something by 100%. Sometimes on other things, only 60%. Overall average in times and things, 80%. So the best you can say, a natural clairvoyant as well as a trained clairvoyant is only 80% accurate in what they come up with, information-wise. Now, when we say 80% accurate, done by the naturals, as well as trained, you see, we find something here. We need to be able to eliminate the 20% error, see? So there's 20% error here. Now, in testing these people out, we cannot eliminate or reduce the 20% error factor in the natural ones, because the natural clairvoyants don't know or did not know they were clairvoyant to begin with. They did not know how they became clairvoyant, what really made them clairvoyant. So if they don't know how they became clairvoyant, they cannot teach it to anybody else or control it. Sometimes they don't want to be clairvoyant, they're clairvoyant by natural means. They want to be clairvoyant, sometimes they cannot turn it on. And this is the way it is, it's uncontrolled. Now the trained clairvoyants can control it. So seeing that we do not have common denominators within the natural clairvoyants, we cannot test them to eliminate the 20% error. Now we can test and we can use special testing for the trained clairvoyants because they're trained with a special method they're just common denominators. They all have been trained by the same method. They know how they got it because through our training. They know what they had to do in order to get there, in order to accomplish what they did accomplish or are accomplishing. So they know exactly what went through, that they can teach others also. If they teach anybody to do what they did themselves, they would be taught also the same thing. So now we have common denominators. We can get them together and correlate the information that we cannot correlate the information of natural clairvoyance. We can correlate the information of trained clairvoyance and eliminate or reduce the percentage of error. You take, for instance, a case. This is a very beautiful case. A woman came to us, to our group of graduates in Perryton, Texas, and she had a problem. She said she wanted to see whether our trained clairvoyants could give us some information on what was troubling her. And her problem was that so many months before, her husband had been shot down over Vietnam. He was a pilot, and she had not heard from him. She wanted to know, can you people tell me if he's dead or alive? That's a beautiful project, why not? So what we did was take 10 trained clairvoyants and separate them in teams of 2, then told them, go home, here's the information, the name of the individual, his age, approximate age, and so forth, and tell us about this individual, what you can tell us. So they came back the next day, each one with a report. So we had 5 teams of 2, being 5 reports. We correlated the information. Where 2 or more said the same thing, we made 1 report. Where only 1 said something, we eliminated it. So his correlation. Now the consensus of the correlated information was saying that the man was alive, that he was flying very low and had barely had time to use a parachute, but he was alive, and he had hurt himself because he was flying very low, and he had hurt his back and his right leg, but he's alive. Well, the woman kept thinking about it, said, I should have asked another question. And I said, what is it? That when will I know that you people are right? You see, we could have been wrong. This could be false or whatever. And if we would say this, it would be with our life for him to come back and never come back, Well, I said, that's a good project. Let's do it again then. Let's go now to find out when will she know that we are correct. So here we go. The same teams back home again. During the night they did this. The next day they come back with the 5 reports. We correlated the 5 reports. And the consensus was saying, this was March, you see, was saying that she will know that we are right by more or less first part of July. I mean, March, July, it's a long time. I mean, I wish it had been the next month, you see. It was a long time in waiting. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, on the 3rd of July, an announcement came out from Hanoi that they were deliberating on freeing some prisoners. No names were mentioned. The 19th of July, the announcement came out that they had freed 3 prisoners. There were 3 pilots. And one was this woman's husband. When he came home, she told him what had happened. So he called all our group who worked on his case, and he agreed and approved and confirmed everything they said.
It's amazing.
Flying very low, he could barely use a parachute, and in doing so, he had hurt his back and his right leg. So immediately, this man, he was a major then, he took mind control. Well, the worst thing that I've heard in relation to this is that we're working for the devil. Now, people who ignore and are afraid of some unknown things, they always blame the devil for it. And my answer to this is, if the information we're getting creates problems, it could come from the devil. But the information that we're getting by using this method is solving problems. It has to come from higher up, from God, or from some godly system, because we're correcting problems with it. Now, this is how I feel comfortable about it. Well, they say sometimes the devil fools us and corrects problems just to fool us. When they say that, I say, now we are in real trouble then. If devils can solve problems, then we're going to need more devils around, because we got a lot of problems to solve. I mean, it doesn't make sense, you see. So then they say, problem-solving information has to come from higher levels of intelligence. And I call that level or that system God. Now, if we don't get information, it doesn't come from there. I mean, don't get information to solve problems. It doesn't come from there. If we use information that creates problems, it cannot come from higher levels of intelligence. It comes from inner levels or through ignorance, from ignorance. We create problems because of ignorance. And the devil I talk about, the devil I think that exists, is only ignorance. We call ignorance the devil. Because through ignorance, we commit mistakes. We sin, meaning we hurt God's creation, that's sinning, and we only do it because we don't know any better. If we knew better, meaning eliminate the error caused by ignorance, then we eliminate the devil within us. If you commit a mistake through ignorance, you're going to suffer regardless whether you're a priest or a reverend or whoever you are, you're going to suffer anyway. The law says so. So ignorance does not exempt you from suffering. If you make a mistake because of ignorance, you're going to suffer for it, period. I mean, psychic development means mind development, developing your mind to function at higher levels of intelligence, to do better in whatever you're doing. How can that be the devil, you see? It doesn't make sense. But I attribute it to intelligence. I say, well, they do not really know what they're doing, so forgive them because they don't know what they do. And that's right. I mean, that applies there also. So as long as you're solving problems, you're safe. What is correct and what is wrong? We don't go by morals, because morals tend to apply to certain cultures or certain levels of civilization and so forth. Morals. We don't go for morals of what's right is what's wrong. For us, what's right is do not destroy and help to alleviate suffering. What's wrong, cause destruction and cause suffering. Period. Can't go wrong. That's it. And in other words, the golden rule. Do unto others what you would like to have done unto you. Or do not do unto others what you do not want to have done unto you. I mean, simple as this. You cannot go wrong. I mean, if you see that you're going to do something that you feel is going to hurt somebody, would you like to have it done unto you? If not, don't do it then. If you do, go ahead and do it then. If you like what you're going to do to others, to have done it to you, do it. You're right. You're correct. This is conscious, your own conscious feelings within you. So consciousness is your higher level on the invisible hierarchy of intelligence. Your own I am what I am, you who is speaking, when you speak from the left brain hemisphere, you speak only through the concepts of what you have perceived to your biological senses. But when you speak from your right brain hemisphere, you speak from a universal point of view that fits everything. All natural laws are considered and so forth. Now that's quite a difference there. When speaking from the right brain hemisphere, that reigns in the invisible world of the mind. The left one reigns in the visible world of the body. So we want to learn to use the right brain hemisphere. Now this is what we call a clairvoyant, one who is able to use the right brain hemisphere to think with. So imagination and visualization faculties that belong to the right brain hemisphere, not to the left one. Because visualization and imagination using the left brain hemisphere is only using only information that you have perceived, period, and it's stored in your brain. When you do it from the right brain hemisphere, not only do you use that information, but you use also the information also recorded and has been perceived by your mental sensing faculties of your right brain hemisphere, plus the information presently being perceived, which is a lot more information that you are able to use to solve more problems. Something like to enter the kingdom of heaven, you need to become like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. Okay? You need to be, it's like being born again, he also said, when you enter the kingdom of heaven. Well, notice that the kingdom of heaven, we call it the alpha dimension. Why do we call it the alpha dimension? Because it's a different dimension, meaning when we learn to use the subconscious, that's a dimension, consciously, we have changed the meaning to inner, because we are now consciously functioning in the subconscious. There used to be, and there's many books written by many authors, believing that we had three different minds in the human being, the human body. The conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. Well, it's the same mind functioning at different brain levels. We didn't know that before. So it would be the mind functioning at beta, brain-wise. On the chart, it's the blue part of the chart, beta. The alpha is the subconscious. The alpha and theta are the subconscious. They are called inner conscious levels now. And the black part is the unconscious level. But our attunement of mind can be attuned to function at beta or at alpha, theta, or delta. Now we know when you're functioning at any one of those dimensions now by putting an EEG on your skull and notice the brain frequency, because your brain vibrates so many times per second, like your heart beats so many times per minute. And we will know, according to your brain vibration, where you're concentrating your consciousness on the blue part of the brain, the beta, on the chart, on the green part on the chart, the alpha, or the red or the black. We know now what is taking place. Now the main thing is to be able to enter into alpha, the green part of the chart. The alpha dimension is another dimension. It used to be called the subconscious, a different dimension from the conscious dimension. Conscious dimension was one dimension, and the subconscious was a different dimension. Now learning to use this other dimension, the subconscious, is like saying, I have added more consciousness to my awareness. But then this is the dimension that's connected to the right brain hemisphere. Okay, now when you mention shifting function, remember that a child, when one is born, his average predominant frequency of the brain vibration is in relation to his age. So it keeps on increasing and growing, which means if he's 10 years old, there's more 10 vibrations than the other. When he's 15, there's more 15 vibrations than the other. So if we slow our brain down, like when we were a child, 10 vibrations, this is the center of the alpha. This is where the kingdom of heaven is. This is the center of the subconscious dimension. This is the connection to the right brain hemisphere. So that means you need to become like a child, slow down your brain waves. Like when you were a child, to be able to find the connection to the right brain hemisphere. It's like being born again. It's like when you were born, you picked up the use on the left brain hemisphere. Go back again and redo it and pick up the right one, like being born again. Now that's the real being born again, not the one that these people talk about on the screen on television on Sundays. They pick up the Bible and say, just believe in this, you're born again. You believe in the blood of Jesus, you'll be born again. This is not so easy. Jesus didn't say that. He said, seek the kingdom of heaven first and function within God's righteousness. Then everything else will be added on to you.
Detect hidden information, influence people remotely, awaken your psychic powers, and unlock the real secret to a meaningful and successful life with Jose Silva's Everyday ESP Master Course at booksellers worldwide in audio, ebook, print, and large print editions.